Hey there and welcome back to our kitchen. I'm Lauren, one of Festival's Mealtime Mentors, and it's soup season, and I'm really excited today to share a great version of one of my favorite soups, chicken and wild rice soup. So I wish you were in here because you would already smell what's going on, but we have a little bit of butter sauteing with our diced onion. So this has been going for a couple minutes. Our onion's nice and translucent. The next step, I'm gonna add in our minced garlic. Gonna add that to our pot and just saute this until our garlic is nice and fragrant. So about a minute or two. All right, this looks good. So now I'm just gonna add in the rest of our ingredients that you see here. So I'm gonna add in carrots. I love that this soup has got lots of great veggies. So these are just some diced carrots, our celery, which is pretty typical for a chicken wild rice soup. And then probably more of an atypical ingredient, but I love in this recipe, we have some sliced portobello mushrooms. Get these out here. Adds a really nice umami flavor to this soup. Then I'm gonna add in our wild rice, the chicken breast. We're adding in the whole chicken breast. And then from here, I'm gonna add in 8 cups of reduced sodium chicken broth, or stock works too. And what's great about this soup is that our wild rice, our veggies, and then our chicken breast is all gonna cook together right in our broth in one pot, which I love just to reduce dishes. This recipe can also be made really easily in the slow cooker or even an Instant Pot or a pressure cooker if you have that as well. So lots of good options to prepare this soup. The last ingredient that we're going to add to our pot here before we let it all cook together is 1 bay leaf and then some Old Bay seasoning, which is kind of unique to a chicken and wild rice soup, but I promise you'll never want to make it another way after this. The Old Bay just adds so much great flavor. So I'm just going to kind of stir everything together, kind of get that chicken breast and our wild rice down into our broth. And then from here, I'm going to turn up the heat. And what I would do next is let this come to a boil and then reduce it to a simmer after that. Cover it and let it cook for about 35 minutes. We want to make sure that that wild rice cooks all the way through along with our chicken breast. So we're going to let that cook. All right, so our soup's been cooking for about 35 minutes. So we're going to get started on our cream sauce, which is really simple. So we're going to make a roux. And what that is we've got some butter here that has just about melted. So I'm going to add in our flour next. And I'm going to whisk this together for about a minute. We want to make sure that that flour gets a little bit brown. So I'm going to keep whisking that together here. All right, this looks good. Flour is nice and golden brown. So next I'm going to add in our low-fat milk. I'm just going to add in a little bit and give it a good whisk. We want to add in our milk slowly so it doesn't scorch. So you just have to kind of commit to continue whisking and continue adding in that milk. You just want to be patient with this. Continue whisking it. You want the sauce to be pretty thick, so just keep whisking and be patient. Wait for it to get to that really nice, creamy consistency. All right, so our cream sauce is really nice and thick. It looks awesome. So I'm going to turn the heat off here. And from here, I'm going to add it to our soup that has been cooking. I should mention too that after this is done cooking for 35 minutes, you want to check and make sure that rice is nice and cooked, but then also that chicken breast, you would remove it and then go ahead and shred it. Another option to skip that step would be you could add in already cooked chicken breasts, maybe that you have leftovers, or even a rotisserie chicken that you've shredded, and at that point, this is where you would add it to the soup instead of in the beginning with the uncooked chicken. So we've already done that. I'm going to go ahead and add this cream sauce right into our soup. Such a simple step. It's going to make all the difference in the consistency of this soup. So from here, you would give it a nice stir it all in. And then the last steps with this recipe, we'd add in some salt and pepper to taste. And then right before serving, we'd let this like simmer for a little bit. Right before serving, you want to add in that kale. This kale we've already chopped up. You can buy it actually pre-chopped and cleaned in bags, or of course buy it and do that yourself. So you'd add that right before serving. We don't want to add it too far in advance, otherwise that kale's going to get too wilted. So we have some that's done already. This is what it looks like. Looks awesome. You can see we've got all the great wild rice here. And I can smell the Old Bay. It smells amazing. I'm going to give this broth a try. Oh my gosh, this soup. It adds the Old Bay adds such a nice like little kick, but also just a nice, really creamy flavor. Something a little bit different than your traditional chicken and wild rice soup. So cozy up with a bowl of this soup. And for more recipes and resources from your mealtime mentors, visit bestfoods.com.